In an interview just this afternoon, former Clinton campaign spokesman Brian Fallon acknowledged that Hillary herself may have known about the decision to fund the Trump dossier.
Just to be clear, Brian, you have said previously in the last 24 hours you don't believe Hillary Clinton knew about this either. Is that right?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't asked. I haven't spoken to her. No.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Shouldn't she know? Shouldn't you, someone so high up in the campaign, be informed of this?
Well, I mean, she may have known, but the degree of exactly what she knew is beyond my knowledge.
She may have known. In other words, she absolutely knew. And yet she kept it secret for more than a year. Brad Woodhouse is the former DNC communications director. He ran the pro-Clinton super PAC, Correct the Record. He joins us tonight. Brad, thanks for coming up.
Hey, how you doing?
So, well, I'm baffled, you know, as always, living here in Washington.
Nothing to be baffled about.
She not only kept this from herself, but it was not disclosed publicly. And so here you have a campaign paying a foreign national, some of that money probably going to who knows where, but other foreign nationals, maybe a foreign government, and not disclosing it publicly. I don't think that's legal.
Well, first of all, look, I was running a super PAC that part of our responsibility was to place opposition research on Donald Trump. I wish I'd had this dossier, Tucker. I would have tattooed it to my butt and I would have exposed myself.
Well, sure. No, I'm sure you would have. I mean, you'll traffic in any kind of filth.
Avenue. But here's the thing. Who cares who paid? Remember, it began to be paid by a Republican.
But I thought that's right. It's still anonymous, and we don't know who that is.
A Republican began the research.
No, but hold on. Wait a second. I thought the whole point was these are the Russians we're dealing with here. This is information that came in part from Kremlin-connected Russian officials.
Right. But remember,
and it was used to influence a presidential campaign. I thought that was the very charge Democrats were leveling against Trump.
The point of the opposition research was.
But it's okay when they do it?
It was to identify what was happening with Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. It was to expose
the hooker part was the.
It was to expose Donald Trump's connection
I just want
to
to
Russia.
Stop for 1 second. Stop for 1 second. Let me just ask if this is what you're arguing. Democrats, hold on.
Let me ask you this.
No. You got to answer my question. No. Here's what I'm asking. Stop.
Hold on. Are you arguing that the Russians were trying to elect Hillary Clinton? Now, Donald Trump.
Can I ask you? May I ask you?
That's crap.
Okay, please. Let me ask you a real question.
Sure.
We now have confirmed, and you just saw Hillary Clinton's spokesman confirming that the Clinton campaign paid money to Fusion GPS, which hired this former British intel officer who got information from the Kremlin, in effect. You're saying that that's okay, that Hillary's campaign used information from the Kremlin to beat Trump because it was exposing Trump's ties to the Kremlin?
First of all, the dossier came out after the election, so I have no knowledge that the campaign.
No. The printed dossier came out. No, hold on. It's an intelligence gathering operation. It comes in fits and spurts.
Right.
So that was the whole point.
Well, you have seen
but you're
campaign person after another.
But may I ask you?
No,
that's a question. Okay, but look, they paid for it. The information came from the Kremlin. They used it in a political campaign, in a presidential campaign. I thought the whole charge was Trump was using information from the Kremlin to win. But it turns out Hillary was.
The charge is that the Russians interfered in this election, colluding, possibly, that's what's under investigation, with the Trump campaign to elect Donald Trump.
Right. No,
the Russians weren't cooperating with Christopher Steele to elect Hillary Clinton. No, that's an asinine charge.
Well, actually, it's more than a charge. It's proven by the facts of what we're talking about. The Russians were giving information to Steele because they believed.
Well, Steele was working sources.
Let me finish my sentence. Okay. Everyone admits that the Russians gave information to the Hillary campaign for pay. They paid Fusion and Steele. Information from the Russians goes to the Hillary campaign to beat Trump. You don't see that as collusion. That seems like the textbook.
That is opposition research.
Oh,
that is opposition research.
So what I needed
entirely different.
What I needed
entirely different.
Good.
When Russians are buying ads to influence the election.
Totally makes sense. I guess what I needed was yet another lesson in Washington vocabulary. So it looked to me like collusion, or what was last week collusion, is now opposition
research. We're talking about collusion, interfering in the campaign to elect Trump.
I get it. Right. That's collusion. But when it's to elect Hillary, it's opposition.
And Tucker, let's get to the bottom of what this is about.
I get it.
This is about undermining the FBI investigation.
What it's about
because Mueller is in hot pursuit of Trump. So all of a sudden, you got all these congressional investigations.
No, actually, if I can just correct you, what it's about is George Orwell, who wrote the textbook for using language to achieve political ends.
Look,
And that's what you're
17
doing.
agencies said
Right, yeah.
that Russians colluded to help
All
elect
right,
Trump.
Brandon House, thank
none
you
of
for
them said
joining
that they
us.
were trying to elect Hillary Clinton, Tucker. Not one.